So this is being developed by ImStation. I'm not going to put any links directly, but I was also told that this will end up being ported to Delta V first. At least that's what the implication was. And theoretically, it could be ported onwards from there to other servers. Probably not Wisden, because code licenses. I don't know all this stuff. I just cover video game content. I'm not a lawyer. The cult's overall goal is to usher in the end. It's a pretty open-ended objective, but you are not encouraged to kill everyone because converting people helps you usher in the end faster. There's also the objectives empower the monument and siphon entropy, and those we'll get to very quickly. You will start off with 3 abilities, 3 if you're the starting cultist, but only 2 if you're just a normal converted cultist without any abilities. To start, you have the ability called Beckon the Monument. Call forth the monument in the real space, keep it hidden and safe from non-cultists. You are going to want to put this somewhere not in like a public hall, and when you double click it, you'll see this absolutely awesome animation with phenomenal sound effects. This is not visible to non-cultists, and I'll just show you very quickly to make things less confusing. You can't see it as a non-cultist, but you still don't want to put it in a very obvious spot. When you click on the monument, there will be direct UI telling you how many stages of entropy or converts are needed to get to the next stage, which means the monument will grow, and you'll gain access to new glyphs and new abilities as you level up the monument. The 2 starting glyphs are very important. The first one is Knowledge, which allows you to convert people into your cult, and then the other one is allows you to ascend in a temporal astral form to spy around you. The way glyphs work is you click on one and click Scribe, and it will put this sigil right on the floor, this glyph right on the floor in front of the monument. This can be seen by every crew member, so that's what will get you caught. If you are not ready to use the sigil, you can just unscribe it, and as long as you aren't made it very clear where your monument is, you will remain safe and hidden. So just to very quickly show how glyph works, you summon the glyph on the ground and then you left click it, and this one actually will eject me from my body when you left click on it. And you basically turn into a ghost and can look around, scout. It doesn't, you get some vision underneath yourself as well. So this is great for scouting if people are looking for you or just looking for your next target. This does do asphyxiation damage to you though, so don't do this if you're near crit, you will kill yourself. But it's also meaning you can't just spam this stuff out. You need to take time to recover or have some form of recovery medicine. Next, we're going to talk about siphon entropy. This is the bread and butter of the cosmic cult. You walk up to any person on the station, living or dead, so you could actually kill somebody and drag their body to a secluded location. I'm not entirely sure if there's a limit to how much you can take away from them, but every time you siphon from somebody, you will get a mote of entropy. It's also worth mentioning that people can't see this currency. However, this is probably an oversight. If you have the mote of entropy in your hand, and since you're basically pickpocketing it off people, that can instantly reveal that your cult's real if somebody just happens to shift click you. So you need to be able to convert people. Once you make the glyph and try to left click on it, it will tell you that you need cultist presence. If you shift click it, it will also directly tell you it requires 2 cultists to activate, meaning that you will have to start off with your starting members, your starting cult members in order to even get your first convert. The second ability all cultists will have inherently is called Shunt Subjectivity, which is basically the coolest looking stun you've ever seen in a video game, and I'm not going to lie. So I'm filming from the perspective of not the cultist getting hit by this. There's a short do after, but once you get stunned, you literally have like your soul turn into like a wisp, and you're just thrown into this absolutely horrific, terrifying existence where you're just wandering around as a wisp. During this time, your body is unconscious in the real world, and they're most likely going to cuff you and bring you back to the sigil. Once you're on the sigil, a cultist literally just has to left-click it, and you are instantly converted into one of them. It is also worth mentioning while I have this screen open, the one with the flashing icon like so is a lead cultist, and if it's not flashing, you're not a lead cultist. So now that we've converted that extra person, we'll notice that our stage has actually increased dramatically. Converting people and getting entropy both share the same percentage. So if I put in one more entropy, we'll see that the percentage has gone up, and we can either use 2 converts or a mix of the 2. Entropy is obviously safer because it doesn't involve converting people and you can stealthily steal it from people, but conversion is faster and does grow your numbers. So I'm just going to put in enough entropy to level up the monument, and we'll see this awesome animation play. So now we have unlocked new glyphs, and again, this monument is still not visible at this point. However, it has become clear that your cult can be seen because these malign rifts will start appearing around the station. The cultists want these. The cultists will interact with these malign rifts, and that will empower the cultist that interacts with them. I believe the crew themselves can also close it, and the guidebook does mention chaplains have specific abilities to deal with this better. I don't know if they just close it faster, but either way, the crew does not want you to get access to this, but your cult is not inherently exposed at this point, but the fact that your cult exists will be exposed at tier 2 of the monument. So once you interact with it as a cultist, you gain some pretty awesome abilities. You no longer become affected by space damage. You still get cold, but as far as I could tell in this code base, you don't get slowed down from cold still. So you pretty much just become immune to space, which is really powerful. But the most powerful part of this is you gain more entropy every time you steal it. Normally you'd only gain 1 entropy when stealing from someone. However, if you're empowered, you actually gain 3 at a time. So you can get your monument going much faster. Again, I don't want to show every single ability because there's a lot, and this is something that's 100% worth discovering for the first time on your own. But there's also other really cool abilities here. I will specifically show the blade transmute because there's some awesome weapons here. So if you get this glyph and just say like a glass shard, you can transmute the glass shard into one of the best weapons in the game. It either becomes an entropic blade, or I think the other one's a lance, but this blade has one of the coolest animations in the game. It does a ton of damage. It can be wielded. Doesn't have a wheel sprite, but it just makes the damage go up. But this does slash, asphyxiation, cold, and structural damage. And yes, if you could tell by my screen, I took a lot of damage forging that blade. So you do not want to do that if you're about to be in a fight. You need that preemptively. The storage on this item is also a 4x4. So again, something else you have to be pretty careful about. But it is awesome looking. And I'll show one more spell, or influence they're called, that I really like. It's called Aberrant Lapse. This lets you turn somebody. It makes them immaterial, and man, does that look cool. That animation is awesome. Them getting stuck in this like time lapse is awesome. And I like how if you shift click stuff that is your cult, it will often have messages like, this is our doing as things should be. And if somebody else is not a cult looks at it, it'll be like, you're not supposed to see this and stuff like that. Just cool flavor text. So now we'll just upgrade the monument further by adding some more entropy to it. The second to third stage is definitely a long stage, but it makes sense because once you upgrade the monument to its third stage, everyone in the cult is revealed, and the monument will truly show itself. At this point, other people can see the monument whether or not you are part of the cult or not. So all bets are off at this point. You are going to want to be combat ready and eligible at this point, so transmute armor, transmute blades, have abilities to fight with, and at this level, you also get very powerful spells. You can start converting people. You can convert people that have mind shields where normally you couldn't do that, and you can also get this thing called a vacuous spire. I'm not good at words. You take a atmospheric scrubber, a portable scrubber, and you can glyph it into this thing called the spire. And the spire, when anchored, you do oddly need a wrench for this thing. It's kind of funny, this like cult item still needs a wrench. You can wrench it in place, and once it's wrenched, this will start producing motes of entropy. It also starts like reverse sucking out the air, I believe. So you really want to have this in a place where only empowered cultists are going to be touching it, or have like access to like oxygen or whatever respective species it has. But the main benefit of this is you produce motes of entropy. This is very loud. It can be destroyed. So just be cautious in putting it in a bad spot. But this will allow you to reach the usher in the end much quicker because it produces motes of entropy very quickly. If you build this as the cult, you can get towards the end very, very rapidly. To show one more influence without showing all of them, one I really, really like is the Astral Nova. This is a ability that is akin to a magic spell. You throw it out and it's like a black hole, and it'll pull everyone in and stun them if they're not a cultist. It can convert walls into your own, and it looks so cool. It has awesome audio. It's got to be my favorite ability in the entire game. One more time for good measure. So once you put in enough motes of entropy or converted enough people or a mix of both, you'll see this black hole thing appear in the center of the monument. When you interact with it next, it'll say you begin to beckon the unknown. This essentially starts a nuke countdown just to keep things familiar with people who know like nukies. This will be an event that the crew has to disarm. The crew can disarm this by left-clicking it, but the monument will start drawing in power. There will be an alert for the entire station saying that a CDM spike appears wherever the monument is at, in case the crew hasn't already found that in the third stage or the final stage. I guess this is truly the final stage. But once you do this, this is the objective of Ushering in the end, beckon the unknown, and herald the final curtain call. After it collects enough energy, it will play this very intense music, honestly. It kind of reminds me of something like Terraria Calamity is my first thought for whatever reason. But just like the Nuki song, this is meaning that the crew has very limited time to actually stop it, and the end is truly coming. Animation bugged out a tiny bit there, but once you have finished the full summoning process, this giant entity known as the Unknown essentially just ends the round instantaneously. You turn into this transcendent ascendant form, meaning you have successfully ushered in the end. I do believe it's supposed to turn green, or maybe it didn't turn green because I didn't siphon enough entropy, but I'm not going to sit here left-clicking on a crew member for an hour by myself. And I just want to close out the video again by please stating that don't try to join this server or like go out looking for it. If you look on the GitHub, you will probably see the Discord page. It's supposed to be a private server. I don't think the Discord was intended to be public, but you can find it. Either way, expect to see this on more servers after this. It's still not even in-game right now, so even if you wanted to go on the server and play it, you couldn't. So please be respectful and don't try to join their server that they don't want people in. Yeah, it's private. I don't even know the steps to join it, so please don't ask. Anyways, awesome work. I would link it for credit, but I don't want more people joining the server or looking for it. Anyways, very, very awesome. Looks fantastic. I think it will play really well. I don't know how it'll play, but it should play like the other cults, which usually play fairly well. And thank you for watching.